Hey, you guys, it's Bernadette. So I came on here and I'm popping on just really, really quick without any makeup because I am getting ready to bust a move and pack and clean and in between clients and everything else. But this message keeps coming through today. I just delivered it for the second time in the last hour. And I want to share it with you guys. And it's advice that's very, very, very practical. And if there's one thing I am, it's practical, right? Yes, I'm a psychic. And yes, I have clients that call me from all over the world to ask me about all kinds of things. And the number one thing that people ask me about is relationships. So I'm going to give you guys some practical advice and tell you something that most psychics won't tell you because then it cuts into their business. But I'm all about helping people. I am not about getting people stuck on calling psychics and making them dependent. So I'm going to give you guys some advice that Spirit gave me a long, long time ago, and advice that came from my grandfather about relationships as well. And while it's not the popular thing to do and probably not the smartest thing to do when it comes to making money as a psychic and doing readings, I don't really give a rip. And I'm just in one of those moods. So say hello when you get here. I think my daughter just shared this onto my timeline and into our group. And if you have friends that are struggling with relationships, or you're struggling with relationships, or you have a group and you're a psychic or an intuitive, and you're like, man, I wish more people knew what she's about ready to share, I want you to sprinkle it into your groups and onto your timeline. Okay. Now, there's a couple things going on today that I want to tell you first as you guys all get here. But say hello when you get here. I am not seeing comments, so I don't know if you guys are making them. Oh, there they are. All I had to do is hit hi. Hi, Bernie. Hi, Janine. Hi, Dottie. Hi, Valkyrie. Hi, Terry. Hi, Donna. Okay, so there's a couple things going on today. I posted something earlier. We are right at the summer solstice, right? We're going into Cancer. The moon's going into Pisces later on. Hi, Lauren. And Neptune is making a square. Where did my little note card go? I had everything written down astrologically. So Neptune is going to be conjunct the moon in Pisces later when the moon kicks in. And then tomorrow and through the weekend, Venus is making all kinds of aspects, one with Jupiter, and then it's quincunxing Saturn, but it is going to square Neptune, which means the meaning of all of that. And you guys are probably like, okay, she just lost me. I'm moving down the street, Terry. I'm moving 5 minutes from here. The owners of our house are moving back from California, so we had to find a new house. And I've been here 2.5 years, so why not, right? Shake it up some. Anywho, with all of that energy, what's it mean? It means that we have the tendency right now to pull in information, receive psychic intuitive hits, but the energy is super unsettled today. Do you guys feel that? Very jittery, very like bing, 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 bing all over the place. It doesn't help that my entire house is sort of out of sorts right now as we pack and move and whatever. Aloha. But with Venus in the spotlight for the next 4 days, it is going to feel like you want to overdo, overthink, overeat, overextend, overgive, overspend, over everything, right? Because of the position of Jupiter and Venus. I really want you guys to be very aware of this energy. It is a very scattered energy, okay? But the message that I want to give you guys about relationships and what I wouldn't tell most people, I'm going to tell you. As a psychic, like I said, this is probably not the smartest thing to do, but I don't really care. Like, I don't like using my gifts for mundane things, okay? I like using my gifts to help you overcome your issues and get to your own strength and get to the center with yourself. So here's my advice to any of you who call a psychic about a relationship that has you frazzled. Now, I'm not saying in the beginning of a relationship. At the beginning of a relationship, we kind of want to know, like, what am I dealing with? What do I not see? But when we're in a relationship for longer than 6 months to a year, some 2 years, some 4 years, and people call me about relationships they're in, for a very long time, and they're like, I'm in turmoil, I'm not sure what to do. Should I give this guy a little longer? Should I give this chick a little longer? What should I do? And I'm so confused, but I'm so in love. This is what I do. The minute I feel compelled To call a psychic to find out whether or not the person I'm with is gonna change, is the right person for me, and it's been longer than 6 months to a year, you already know the answer to that question. How many of you guys agree? Do you agree with me? Tell me, do you agree with me? Because truly, like, here's what my grandfather taught me. There was very few things my grandfather taught and said that made any sense to me. But this one thing he did make absolute sense. He said, anyone, but especially men, after 6 months in a relationship, men know whether they want to be with you and make a life with you or not. And the same is true with a woman. If after 6 months of being in a committed partnership relationship, that your partner does not know whether they want it, they still need time. They're still trying to figure it out. If after 6 months, they're still trying to figure it out, you need to put on your walking shoes and go. Don't call a psychic. Don't call me asking me, do I give it more time? If after 6 months, you guys agree? Yeah. If after 6 months, this person still doesn't know whether they want to be with me or not, bullshit. Bullshit, bullshit. You go take your time and think about it. Meanwhile, I'm going to go date other people and get on with my life. I'm not going to wait. One of the things that happens with very, very empathic, loving, overgiving people is that we see and my client I just talked to, which finally, she was the second person this morning I gave this advice to. I'm like, all right, I'm just going to give it to all of you. Okay. It doesn't mean I don't want you to call me about relationship stuff, but I want you to call me coming from a different place. Okay. So that we could actually get some movement going on in your life. Don't call me and ask me if he's coming back. Don't call me and ask me if you should give him more time. Okay, if after 6 months they don't know, you need to put on your walking shoes, put on your big girl and big boy panties and get moving. Like, do not waste your time on people that are so confused after 6 months. Like, seriously, you fall in love, you can do so within 6 months. You know whether or not you're committed to that. But if you're still dating other people, you're still playing the field, you're still trying to figure your shit out, no, see ya. Like, go figure that out on your own time. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Bernadine. Hi, Donna. All right. My grandfather was right, though. He was absolutely right. Everybody knows within 6 months whether or not they want to be with you and build a life with you. And if they don't, they will never know. One of the things that heart-centered people, empathic people, sensitive people do all the time, is we fall in love with the heart, the spirit. My client said, oh God, but I can see a spirit and it's so brilliant. And it's so bright. Guess what? I'm a psychic and I can see their spirit too. I can see the spirit of a psychopath, the spirit of a narcissist, the spirit of every individual. And they are always pure and they're always beautiful and they're always of light. But if they're choosing to be psychopathic, narcissistic, and selfish, what good does it do? They're not choosing to live their potential and you're in love with the potential. You're not in love with the reality. What you're dealing with in third dimension is what they choose to express here in third dimension. Can they change? Maybe, but if after 6 months they still haven't, what are you doing? And why after a year or 2 years are you calling me going, should I give it more time? Like, if you're in turmoil and you're having to call a psychic to tell you what to make of this relationship, you already know the answer to that. You need someone to be straight with you. Okay. So to avoid you guys having to call me for questions like that, right? I'm going to tell you straight up, the minute you go into turmoil after a period of 6 months and it's causing you that much discomfort and that much confusion, you need to just walk. You already know. Right? If your spirit is in that much turmoil, you already know the answer to that question. And sure, there are many psychics. I work on a site, subcontract, and have for almost 20 years now, that there are people on there that aren't great psychics. They don't have great ethics, and they will build a fairy tale and tell you, oh, it's going to change. Oh, they're going to come back. And oh, yeah, they're going to No, like, let them go do their thing and do not wait around. Cut that. Go on with it. Hand it over to God. Hand it to source energy. I want better than this. do yourself a favor and expect more for yourself. Because here's the deal. As a heart-centered person, as an empath, and you guys can tell me if you don't agree with me, obviously you're still on this live stream, so you must agree to some extent. And this is probably hitting the heart of a few of you, and probably a few of you that I've talked to. If after 6 months, it's putting you in turmoil, that means that you're making decisions against your own soul. That's what that turmoil is. That's what that confusion is. You're like, I want more. I want better. The problem is coming in when you become attached to the person that you're with. Because if they're not willing to express that in that first 6 months, honey, nothing's going to change that until they change it. And waiting around for them to change does no good. Now, if you're in a marriage and things have just gone sideways, that's a whole other conversation. But I'm talking about being in a relationship that's fairly new and you're still waiting for them to express their potential. They may not ever express their potential. I know plenty of people that never hit even the bottom part of their potential and express it, right? You guys know what I'm saying? Trying to make sure I can see comments. The whole Facebook thing right now, my screen's kind of freezing up. Anyway, so that's my advice to you. And I just wanted to pop on because I know that there's a lot of relationship coming up right now with the position of Venus. It's putting it in the spotlight. So our love lives, our relationships are in the spotlight. It's squaring with Jupiter through this next few days, and it's going to bring all of your relationship stuff to the fore. And it's probably going to make you very, very, very uncomfortable. If you've got issues and if you're in a place where you're staying and you should be leaving, right? You want to call me for something, then let's get to the heart of the matter and I will read for you why you're stuck, why you're having a hard time letting go. What is the fear? What is the underlying issue? And how can you shift it, change it? And I'll give you some exercises to work on to cut yourself free from that and break that pattern. Because chances are, if you're in that pattern now, it's not the first time. Right? You're repeating an old pattern. And we're at a time right now where we need to break old patterns, break old habits, and move on to something brand new, something that like enhances the way we feel about our lives, something that brings joy, something that allows us to feel and experience love, both in the giving and the receiving of it. We're mixing our spoons and forks in the same drawer. Our cookware is mating. Everything in boxes wants to be here in closets. Ah, cool. All right. So does that make sense, you guys? Yes? No? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Because I talk to so many people on a daily basis. A big part of the questions that I get is, okay, so I've been dating this person for X, and I don't know if it's ever going to change. You know, should I give them more time? They still want time to date other people. It's like, man, how long have you been in it? And if you've been in it for less than 6 months, maybe give it some time. That reading's a little bit different. But if you've been in it for longer than 6 months and that person still doesn't know, put on your big girl panties, your big boy panties, and get walking. Like seriously, they can figure that out without you being stuck and stagnant. Because when we wait for someone and we become stagnant, our whole lives then start to fall apart around us. And that discomfort is all about you making a decision against your own soul, right? So that's my advice to you. If you're going to waste money, you can call me for that, but I'm telling you, like, I'm just giving you guys free advice. Most psychics won't tell you that. Won't tell you, you know, if you're questioning it, like, and you're calling a psychic to give you that answer, you already know the answer. You just don't like the answer. So there's that. If you want to break out of it and you want to break those old patterns and habits, fine. If it's the beginning of a relationship and you're both healing from past relationships, again, other reading. But if you've been in it for a while and you're like, oh my God, this is driving me crazy. And you're making excuses and justifying that person's behavior or lack of commitment, you already know the answer. You don't need a psychic for that. But you can call me and I will walk you through and work you through breaking that pattern. That's a far better way for me to use my gifts in a powerful way to help you. And that's the way I choose to use my gifts. So don't call a psychic for that. The minute it comes up, the minute I get to a place and I'm like, I'm going to call one of my friends and ask about this. This is driving me crazy. Then I already know the answer and I will instantaneously get my sword out and go, see ya, gotta go, bye. You figure it out on your own time. Don't come to me and I'm not waiting for you to figure it out and go through therapy and it's a waste of time. Hi, Kat. So anyhow, that's today's piece of advice. And it's one that apparently a lot of you guys are wrestling with. But if you have people in your life, do the loving thing, right? Put this on your timeline and tell people, like, yeah, you need to listen to this. It's funny because I have people too, and I've had friends that call me over and over and over again about the same relationships. Can you throw cards on this? Can you tell me what Spirit's saying about this? What should I do? And it's like, okay, this is the 10th time, right? The 10th time that we're asking, and I'm going to tell you right now, whether it's the cards or Spirit or just my personal advice, it's all going to be the same as it was the last 10 times. Now, I have people that do what's called psychic shopping. Love. I have all these little isms that I come up with, but I have people that do psychic shopping, and they'll call me after 10 other psychics, and I'll tell them the truth about something, and they're like, but that's not what the last few psychics said. Well, if you're psychic shopping for the answer that you want, why are you calling me? Why are you mad at me? Like, I'm being honest with you, but go ahead and call another 5 psychics and then take the average of the readings and get the answer that you want, or just save your money and live in la la land. Like, you can do that too. People do it. It's cool. But from the point of ethics, I will not do that with you guys. All right. Yes, life can be more complicated, but seriously, if a relationship is over 6 months to a year old, and you are in turmoil and you're like, they're out there dating other people and they still need to work on themselves, should I give it more time? No, you should not give it more time. You need to move on with your life and start asking the questions of, why am I not demanding better for myself? Why am I not willing to cut this? Why am I so willing to settle for so little when I have so much to offer? Now, if you're not offering much and you're the person that's like, oh, I'm in la la land and the in between, I haven't made up my mind, it's been more than 6 months, then you need to get with me and we'll do some coaching around that, right? And find out why you're still holding that person up, because that's not nice and that's not fair. And why you're holding yourself up. Because when we hold on to relationships like that aren't for our highest good and aren't loving, we are literally blocking our own doorway for the right one to come in, right? We are. And then we're like, after it ends and we've put in another year after that or 2 years after that, oh, I knew better. Yes, you did, but you didn't act on it. So now it's time to forgive yourself and all of that and move on. And sometimes the hardest thing to do is move on. But I'm like the move on queen when it comes to being able to coach people beyond their madness. So that's my advice to you. There's your free psychic reading. And you didn't have to pay someone like to get it. There's the reality. If you're in turmoil and it's been longer than 6 months, it's not the right relationship for you. And that person needs to get their shit together. And if it's you causing the shit, you need to get your shit together. Set them free while you work it out and let them be loved, right? It's the most loving thing you can do. So, all right, that's it. Straight to the point. I'm going to go back to cleaning and getting my madness organized. This energy is very, very scattered right now. And it's just going a million miles a minute. But I thought I'd give that to you guys, that little nugget from my grandfather that has served me well throughout my life and is the truth. Really, it is the truth. You're welcome, Lisa. Yep. So those of you who have young people too that are in your life, whether it's your daughters or your sons or your nieces and your nephews, and they're going through the same thing and they're like not worldly enough to realize these truths when it comes to relationships, share this with them so that they don't have to sit around in turmoil. It's one of the most heartbreaking things to watch people stay in relationships for the potential, and it never gets to the potential. And believe me, I'll be honest with you guys. I've been in relationship with some crazy characters, and I'm grateful because it allows me the information, the knowledge, and knowing of the experience of being in dysfunctional relationships. It has helped me, right, in helping my clients and understanding the psychology of people. But there is no payoff for being in the wrong relationship long past the point of expiration. Everybody we should give a chance to if we have a heartfelt connection to. But the minute you sit there and you justify it, well, they're still hurting from their past. I know that they care. And you make all these excuses. You already know the answer. You don't need a psychic for that. Hi, Beverly. All right, you guys, have a wonderful weekend. Have a wonderful day. Just slow down with these Venus aspects over the next 4 days. You're gonna want to overgive, overthink, overdrink, overspend. Anything with the over, that's what this whole thing is going to be with this square with Jupiter. And then the other aspect, the quincunx with Saturn, is really going to feel like, crazy making stuff. So slow down, right? And don't overdo anything. I'll see you guys sometime next week in the midst of all of my madness and my move. If you are looking for a session, I do have some openings. Go ahead and book it. I am not doing Akashic record readings and clearings for the next few weeks until I get settled into my new place because they take so much time. I'm not doing astrology readings for the next couple of weeks because it takes so much time. I am doing one-on-one coaching sessions. My groups are all still open for enrollment. And I'm doing my business coaching and stuff like that. But if it takes like me having to really sit down and take hours and hours to put together something, I'm not doing it. And then the healing sessions that I do on my machine right now, if it's an absolute emergency, you're having a health crisis, get on the phone with me before you book it. And let's see if I have a place where I can slide you in. But because so much of my stuff is packed right now, I don't want to take on more and overdo it for myself. So I'm just being honest with you guys. Like coaching and readings right now, that's easy for me, right? That's like, it's in the flow. But any of that other stuff, I don't have the mind space to do it. Thanks, honey. Integrity first, reason why I love you. I love you too. It's just funny because that keeps coming up. And I know with the Venus placements, Bernie, and the rest of you, like through this weekend, this stuff's going to be happening. And it is going to blow up some relationships, especially because we have an eclipse coming on July 2nd, right? And it is hitting those nodes, the Cancer and the Capricorn aspects. So relationships, eclipses bring things to an end. It will eclipse something out. It will eclipse a relationship out. And then we have a Mercury retrograde beginning as well. So there's just going to be a lot of stuff coming up to wrap up, to close out that you've been holding on to that isn't in your highest good. So for some people, their relationships are going to blow in the next week. And I want you guys to be prepared. And I'm giving you this tidbit of information so that you can look at what's going on in your life and go, okay, maybe I'm just attached. So if you need help getting beyond the attachment and healing and grieving properly, putting it into proper perspective and setting yourself up for success into your next relationship, your next thing, that's when you call me. But if you're like, it's been 2 years, Bernadette, and what should I do? I'm in so much turmoil. And you want me to tell you, oh, it's all going to work out. I probably am not going to be able to do that. And you already know the answer. So, all right, save yourself the money, save yourself the heartache, and just start dealing with it. I'll see you guys later.